Welcome in, YCN Sports Talk, Jeremy Stout, and this week we have Rob Taylor joining us after taking a week off. The bright lights were so much, Rob. You had to take a week off, and we appreciate you coming back on his birthday, folks. Happy birthday, Rob.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us. So we'll get right into the Celtics. I know you're a big Celtics fan. We got a treat at the end. We will name our top 5 Celtics of all time, so that'll be fun. But let's talk about the present. They just made a big trade. Obviously, everyone knows about that by now. Trading their pick, their number 1 pick, to the 76ers for the number 3 and a first-round pick, possibly next year, or it might be the year after, depending on how things go. Good trade. Do you like the direction that this team's going, stockpiling these picks?
Yeah, you know, they say about Danny Ainge that you can say that whatever a regular GM would do, he'll do the opposite.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of people in the Boston area that are sort of unsure of what he's up to. I'm sure there's a method to the madness. We'll see what he's up to. I kind of had a feeling going into this that he would trade away that first-round pick.
Right.
Seems like maybe a little too much pressure for him. I don't know
Right,
if that's what it's all about. But dropping back a couple positions in the draft, I don't think that's such a big deal. I think we still have our man on our plan, so we'll see how that goes.
And that's what basically what Ainge said was the guy we were going to draft at number 1 will be available at number 3, so he wasn't really sacrificing anything. It just didn't seem like, assuming Markelle Fultz is the number 1 pick, Lonzo Ball goes to the Lakers at number 2, it's between Josh Jackson, maybe Jason Tatum, but it just seemed like the Celtics were never really sold on Markelle Fultz. And you're right, that's different than all the GMs. I was listening to Chad Ford earlier today, and he said everyone thinks Markelle Fultz is the number 1 pick, the best player in this draft with Lonzo Ball, but not Danny Ainge.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. If if time proves that Fultz is the guy for many, many years, and he turns out to be an absolute superstar, that'll be the worst thing that Ainge ever did. But my guess is that Jackson will be a great player for him. He'll fill that role and sort of bring the Celtics to sort of, I guess, the thought is to try to get a lot of big guys nowadays in the league that they can have interchangeable positions. Right. And you're not depending too heavily on one guy. The Warriors would be an example. I think the way that they build their team, just have a lot of big guys to play the ball, and even the Cavs the same way.
Yeah, and spread that position around. You don't have your traditional point guard, shooting guard. You have the point forward, and you have different guys, hybrid positions. And speaking of one of those guys, Anthony Davis. A lot of people have been talking that maybe he's stockpiling all these picks to make trades, whether it be a Jimmy Butler, which obviously doesn't sound like that's going to happen. Paul George is out there. Maybe Porzingis from the Knicks. Would you like to see them take all these picks, whatever it might cost them, and trade for a Porzingis or Anthony Davis, if that would happen? Or do you like kind of how they're building their roster, get another young guy? Or would you say, hey, give up this year's number 1, next year's number 1, Crowder, Smart, and get Anthony Davis?
I would say that the Celtics seem to be trying to go after 2 different things simultaneously.
Right, yes.
They're trying to build for success immediately. They've got a team that's really teetering on some great things. I mean, they've been right there in the top 3 or 4 teams in the league. Just try to get them over that edge, try to pick somebody up to get them there.
Right.
But I don't think you want to sell too much down the road because of all these draft picks. And I've got to hear that they've got 7 first-rounders in the next 3 years, including 3 potential top 5 picks over the next 2 years.
Right.
So they're building for success now, but I think that they're also looking down the road. I think that's the way that Ainge is taking it, and he's looking to build with some great drafting, hopefully a great team for the future too.
And it seems like it's kind of a balancing act, a high wire act, because they get to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, but if they draft Josh Jackson, are they really any closer to beating the Cavs? No, but you don't want to take a step back. So what do? Do you go for it now, or do you go for it in the future without, a rebuild mode? Because, fans don't want the rebuild mode. So next year, if they have Jackson, do they keep Isaiah Thomas? Are they closer? But there's still a lot of talk that LeBron James might not stay in Cleveland. There's talk that Paul George goes to L.A., and then L.A. gets Lonzo Ball. Maybe LeBron goes to L.A. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I've heard people talk about that.
Certainly, it's an exciting draft. I think there's a lot that will shake out here in the next couple of days. We'll see. Obviously, it's compelling. I think that's one of the things that the NBA wants.
Right.
And it'll be sort of must-see if you're a Celtics fan, must-see TV to see how it all shakes out. I'm confident. We got a lot of stuff up our sleeve. I really like our chances of picking up some good talent
Right.
and making something out of it.
And the NBA does it right. The NBA finals end. You have basically a week to 10 days, and then the draft. So they stay in the news cycle.
Yeah, stay in the
they're not
spotlight.
they're not stupid. They know how they got this figured out. So ultimately, who do you think they take tomorrow night with their number 3 pick?
Oh, I think they're going to take Josh Jackson,
Yeah.
who really is a two-way player, awesome defender, just a stud. I think
Yep.
he'll be a great addition to the team, and we'll see how it goes from there.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Josh Jackson, probably that number 3 pick, but maybe a trade. You never know what Danny Ainge has up his sleeve, like you said. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get into some Red Sox talk. They're coming off a road trip. They'll be home starting on Thursday night, and they're the new owners of first place in the American League East. When we come back, you're watching YCN Sports Talk.